the new.
He's a resident expert, the SME.
But one of the things I was reading was there's challenges with cryptocurrency. Because in the event that we go over to a cryptocurrency situation and we get hacked, or one of the systems goes down, China have got this system now, and India apparently introduced this 3 months ago, and there was chaos in the streets. Mm-hmm. Because now with cryptocurrency, there are ways that the government can track it with digital payments. So as we're using more, and I didn't realize this till I watched this thing last night, and basically it was through the Google group that I'm on, and they basically said that people don't understand, but with cash, it's very expensive to maintain cash. When you make a cash deposit at the bank, they charge you money. But one of the things that concerns them about digital payments is they actually make more money on you from digital, easily more trackable. If you take
for a debit card,
what's that?
For like a debit card,
all transactions
that are not cryptocurrency.
But with cryptocurrency, what they think is, if we go onto digital levels of payments, then it's going to make it more trackable for people. That's why India did.
Now, so
in other words, and it was interesting because the thing I looked at last night was actually from Germany, and the Bundesbank, who are one of the biggest banks in Europe. Germany is a little bit old-fashioned in all fairness, but there was a guy there, and he's got a bill that he's trying to put in a vending machine, and it's not working. It's not accepting the bill because for some reason it's not working. That he put his credit card in, he used his credit card, and it works. He said, but some people, is digital currencies going to be in a position where some of the lower income people, and yet there's some countries now that what they're doing with their kids, they're giving them basically the credit card, or even their allowance, different things. But a lot of people, because they now banks are sort of taking more notes with crypto.
Well, the cryptocurrency, outside of the source, the transactions, it's not like your traditional debit card. You went to Dave and Buster's, got gas at Exxon, you can't see all that. So that's what makes it more attractive to people that want to.
But it's more traceable as well, isn't it, Jack? Cryptocurrencies are more traceable.
Well, what you're saying is actually not true because every wallet that is linked to blockchain can pull up all the withdrawals and deposits on it.
You as an individual, though, right?
Yeah.
So who else has access to that, though?
The entire internet has access to that. Now, the problem is you don't know, the only reason you would know my wallet is because I tell you, hey, my wallet is 0xA450,
gotcha.
and it's
so
32 characters.
So you don't know the source of who that is.
So I can send you $40 million, but you can't, or I can send you 40 Bitcoin, but that Bitcoin is still Bitcoin until it becomes a form of government currency.
Correct.
So when it becomes the form of government currency is when you have to find out who it was or who it's going to, because it has to go into a bank.
Right.
But as long as you can transact,
governments
exactly.
As long as you can transact without having it to become a currency.
Exactly.
But there's a movement by countries and banks, all right, to make it part of the currency. That's where some,
not here.
Some countries.
It's not possible. It's not possible.
It's not here. I don't see it happening now. El Salvador we talked about.
Exactly.
Now
you can
more countries are that's what they're trying to do, is to legitimize cryptocurrency.
Okay. I thought you were saying they were building their own currency.
No. They're legitimizing
right.
cryptocurrency.
Yep.
More countries are starting to use it. I've got a very good friend that went to China 18 months ago. She went to Beijing, and she said she never used cash once. They've got this app on their phone that they go on, and they got a wallet, and they just go into the places.
China's different because they're smart. They're starting their own digital currency with the yen.
And the reason why they're doing that is to get away from the dollar.
Well, and so they can control the monetary value
of it, right?
Digital means. you don't have to pump money anymore. You don't have to print $1 million.
Right.
You just type in a code, and there's $1 million in my checking account.
Right. And these economists, what they're basically saying is the value in cash is the trust value.
Currency.
In currency,
Right.
It's a trust thing. But with cryptocurrency, is it an issue if people go in and hack the account, even for governments? That's happened recently. It's started to happen now.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if the system crashes?
But the system can't crash.
What happens if it becomes part of the bank? Then the bank goes out of business.
It can't become part. The blockchain in its existence is literally a bank, but instead of corporations getting paid, the people are the ones who are transacting the money. So it's the same idea as a bank, except instead of the bank being the intermediary for escrow from you to James, it's an individual that is transferring that money.
That's why they want to dip their toe in it. They want to
That's what I'm saying. But even there's some people that are owners of the cryptocurrencies, the developers, that are saying that they're trying to bring in basically to get it recognized, and that's what's causing the challenge with the governments at the moment. Absolutely, they want to know where, and that's what they're worried about, is because it's like you said, it becomes a control issue. They can track where the money is. They can track whether you're paying your full amount of taxes. With cash, you can't do that. You see,
I think the same exact way. I don't think Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency.
What they're looking for with a lot of these governments now is a way that they can track that, the cryptocurrencies as they're getting more recognizable. I mean, now they're getting more, there's a lot more people now that are coming onto, the whole concept of it.
Concept's not going away.
I agree it won't. Yeah. I agree it won't. But then there was an economist that I was watching last night who was basically saying that the problem is, how is that going to impact societies? Like, for example, in Germany, they've now got, as banks are going away with the digital revolution that's going on, banks are going away. They're closing down. They're closing down a lot of their banks. It's happened with my bank. All right. In Germany, they've got literally, it looks like a food truck. It's basically a safe that goes around to all the rural areas if they want cash, or they can recharge their digital cards. All right.
That it's a safe?
It basically looks like a food truck. It's a big safe.
Okay, now, what if someone...
That's what I was just going to say. What if they rob it? It's like an armored...
I don't know, but honestly, that's the first thing I thought of, but this lady just driving around in this truck.
That doesn't seem safe to me at all.
Well, maybe not in America, but in Germany it might be. But basically, that's part of the problem of it. How do you get funds to some of the rural areas where they haven't even got internet?
Right.
I think
but that's
should have internet.
But that, right, absolutely, and I agree with you, but that's infrastructure, and that's where we're lagging behind in America.
That's why, like with India and like all these third world countries are going to benefit much from it. Now all these poor who can't afford banks, bank is literally just an email and your password now.
Right, but that's another point when I watched this, because they did mention India, and then what they basically said is it's put more bank accounts in poor people's access now than ever before. But initially when they did it, it created a rush on all the banks. Everybody wanted to pull out their cash. Now, having an Indian friend in the UK growing up with, I understand why they all want to pull out their cash.
Right.
And let's just leave it at that. All right.
I'm sorry, I had to jump into my wallet real quick.
Had to see what it was.
Just had to see what it was.
But it's an interesting, because I really think the governments will try to get.
Possible.
Yeah, you know what, they said that about flying.
But I think for the government to regulate. It's literally impossible.
Yeah, I don't see how that would work.
It's not possible. That's the only reason I am so heavily invested into this asset, is because it is not. Now, if the government wants to control it, they would have to hold a high amount of it. For example, China is known for holding the largest amount of Bitcoin. So that's why recently, in the past couple of months, when China was doing all these bans, people were actually excited. They were like, hell yeah, because now people don't want to use Bitcoin in China, but that's just not the case. The rich people in China were still accumulating more Bitcoins, and the poor people, because they lose like $50 out of their $150, they're like, oh no, I'm screwed. And again, no one invests in Bitcoin for the next year. I'm not getting profit for tomorrow. I'm getting profit for 10 years down the line.
I have had people tell me, hey man, you need to pull out of us. Like, bro, if you pull out, you pull out.
Yeah.
I'm not even worried about that money in there, because it is, when it pops, it pops.
Yeah. But I think it'll be a consequence. I know what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. I respect that, but I think there will be moves made where people in different governments will try that. They will try. Yeah. They'll try to do something.
Try. That's the key.
Nothing wrong with trying, man, for sure.
Because one of the things why one of the decisions was made in China was for two reasons. One, to get bank accounts into people. It was costing them a high amount of money in actual cash to maintain cash, count the cash. It's all very high labor intensive. And the other thing was people wasn't reporting the amount of cash that they was trading with their businesses. So now with digital currencies, and the other part is with digital currencies that really scares people is the fact that it's like PayPal. A lot more people use PayPal now than any other system. That. And
any other system?
Yeah, and PayPal, by all accounts, PayPal actually sell your data information, and they sell your information to Google, to Amazon. It's all part of the data collection, so they know what you're spending it on and where you're spending it.
I know it's available across a lot of countries.
And the privacy thing that they give you, when you register for PayPal, is 23 pages. Have you ever read it?
Yeah, no, I haven't.
Yeah, well, they reckon it'll take you 3 hours to read it, and in there it says that they have rights basically to.
If you're actually reading that page by page, internet's every website.
But what it is, this is the universities looking at this to see if it's.
Yeah, it's just
because what really is more important to a lot of these organisations is the data collection, to see what you're spending the money on, how you're spending the money.
Business period, though. No matter what industry you're in.
With cash, it's not like that.
Data is always the most important.
With cash, it's not like that, is it? There's no track.
Well, there's no track for the cash itself, what you spend it on.
But you're talking about paper dollars. There's no track. But for the dollars in my bank account, there's a track.
Absolutely, but that's what I'm talking.
You're talking about paper money.
That's why I said cash.
Well, shoot, you go to most places now, they don't even want you to pay cash.
They don't. I agree.
They're trying to get you out of it, so it's that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Actually, when I was in the UK, we was in there, and I had a big bag of coins that last time I went over, I said to Karen, I just want to use the coins. The guy looked at me like I was a caveman.
Caveman, that is a caveman personality in 2021.
Were you eating with your hands?
I've got this big bag of coins, can you help me out? And he said, well, yeah, to be perfectly honest, we even have problems getting change these days.
I believe it.
Yeah, actually, when you go to like Home Depot and stuff, that is actually, I love that. They say that there's a coin shortage, so please pay an exact change.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. I love that.
I was talking to a friend of mine about that this morning. It's like, man, these coin shortages. I mean, really?
Well, we had 2 coffees. It was £6 and 5 cents. And I gave them £10 note, and they turned around and says, "Oh, we haven't got change. You give you £4 change." They didn't have change.
They didn't have any.
Now, here's a question. Does it cost more to make a penny than a penny?
Yes.
Or do you think they break even?
I think it costs more.
Yeah.
I think it costs
copper.
I think it costs more money to maintain it.
Now, they're not as heavily with copper like they used to be.
Right.
But I think it probably, to press that thing out, probably
I need to bring some in and show you on the podcast. But English notes now are plastic.
Really?
Yeah, I'll bring some in. An English £5 note is plastic.
Now,
in English, a UK. The UK £5 note is plastic. A UK £10 note is plastic. A UK £20 note is plastic. 50s, 100s, all plastic.
Now I know there's that way in Japan. Theirs have
no more paper notes.
In them. Yeah, that I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised in that at all.